Leave. Take
Here
a
we
girl.
go in a second. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we're doing.
You're getting the hang of that, Caroline.
Hello, welcome to Dog Vegas. I'm Casey Smith. We have a very special show for you today. You know, you go through the store or something, and you'll see service dogs. And it's frustrating to me, for example, because I want to pet them. I want to scratch them. You can't do that. These dogs are working dogs, and it takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of patience on the part of the handlers, and it takes a lot of intelligence on part of the dogs themselves. Okay, these dogs are extremely intelligent animals, and we've got 3 for you today. You're going to meet some service dogs. You're going to understand, hopefully, service dogs when we're done. And I am too, because I've learned things already just as we started the show. So joining me today, this is fantastic. Janet, Diane, Caroline, Leanna, Henry, Story, and our puppy, Peyton. Peyton is the puppy, but these 2 aren't that far away, and Henry's only 3 years old. Thanks for coming, ladies, all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
And
us.
gentlemen. Yes. This is all under the Smarty Paws umbrella. I know that you have Silver State service dogs also, and you train dogs. You actually have a dog.
I
It's
do.
a service dog. And I got to say, first of all, before we get into this, it's wonderful what you do, because I've seen the results of service dogs in many, many facets, and it's incredible. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How do you do it?
Well, it starts out as a puppy, as you can see with Peyton. He is not a service dog. He is 5 months old, and we usually start them out, depending on what we're going to train them for, we start them out at 8 weeks when they're first weaned from the mama, and depending on what they're going to be used for, but we generally start socializing them right after they're weaned, and we get them, depending on which way we go. We do, at Smarty Paws and Partner Trained Service Dogs, what I do is I train PTSD, TBI, which is post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury, and then we go into diabetic alert dogs. We do autistic children, and we do mobility task work. Henry is a mobility task dog and a PTSD dog. I personally do not have PTSD, but because he is kind of my ambassador, kind of asleep at the moment.
He's kind of demobilized himself. Yes, he's a good boy. Good boy.
He does the demonstrations so that I can show my clients and their dogs what they can expect from their dog to do. So, and then with the mobility task work, it's helping people stay on their feet, helping them get up out of chairs, keeping them from falling, or if they fall down. Henry has actually helped me fall. When I've fallen down, he comes right directly to me and helps me get up on my hands and knees and helps me to stabilize so I can get back up on my feet.
How do they do that? I mean, I love dogs. I've had dogs. I know that dogs can be very, very smart. But how do you train them, or how do you find the dog that has the instinct to know, A, when you're in trouble, and B, what to do?
What we're looking for is temperament, number one. So temperament is like the first thing.
This would be the poster child for temperament.
Well, we want a little bit more.
He is active. He just tired.
He's just, this is Henry, and everybody that knows him, and he knows a lot of people, knows that this is Henry, but when he's needed, he's on his game.
Yeah.
He relaxes. He takes
Good
every
boy.
opportunity to relax. But
Smart
we look
man.
for temperament, and then we look for drive. Does the dog want to do this job? And so when we are looking at a partner, okay, like someone comes to me and they have a dog, I check their temperament first, and then I look for their drive. Do they want to, like Story, touch, okay?
Oh, she's
She
such a
wants
good
to
girl.
do something, touch,
Oh,
okay?
good girl.
Hug, or visit, I'm sorry, I call it hug, she calls it visit.
Visit, yeah.
So this is a visit. This is actually a PTSD move, to get up in your face. Okay, off. Good
Oh,
girl.
what a good girl.
And it's called deep pressure therapy, where they just get into your chest and they just lean into you, and you start to stroke them and you start to breathe. Now, it is a fact, it's a medical fact, that dogs will lower your blood pressure. They will calm you down. And so we just show the dog how to, we show the dog how to
Not yet.
recognize those anxious moments before they actually exacerbate.
Right, and you talked about diabetics. I've heard that some dogs can actually feel it coming on, a
Smell
diabetic episode,
They smell
before
it.
the human. They smell it.
Absolutely. They can detect it. What we do is we do scent training. We either take, it depends on the person's diabetes. It's either we take them into a range of a high or a range of a low before it gets dangerous. So the dog will start to touch. That's where the touch comes in. Touch. Good girl. And get in your lap. Pay attention to me. And then, because we go through a whole regiment of where the dog knows that you're supposed to check your blood sugar right now. So I'm going to touch you, you're going to check your blood sugar, and they're going to watch you do it. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it also means that you have to train humans to pay attention to the dog.
Absolutely, absolutely. And when people actually, their blood sugar goes too low, they will start to lose,
Yeah, I know.
and
I
they're
have
not
friends,
there. The word's not coming to me. So the dog will, if they touch them and they're not paying attention, they will literally get in front of them and put their feet on them and say, "Hey, pay attention. I'm talking to you. Something's wrong." And that's what we're looking for. That's a drive. So that was a good question, actually. A diabetic is a really good way to explain that. And that goes for, if I fall, Henry comes running no matter where he's at, but he doesn't leave my side. He continue. You wouldn't know it at the moment, but he generally, well, if I was to move, he would follow me.
Right.
So, but that's what we look for, is the drive.
And Story clearly is very attentive, and you're a good girl.
Very focused.
How do you go from Mr. Congeniality over here, who, like you say, is a puppy, so he's not expected to be a...
Right.
He's not a service dog yet. I would say that Story is well on her way.
Yes, very far.
And in a few minutes we'll have some demonstrations.
Sure.
And of course, I trust. Yes, Henry, you're the old man at 3 years old. Oh, we see treats.
This is how you
Easy.
get the. This is how we get the temperament. This is how we find out if they're motivated. And all of these dogs are very food motivated. Up.
Well, of course.
Come on, you
they're
can't
dogs.
get up. Can you squeeze up in there?
Come on, Henry. I'm
Come
in
on.
your way, buddy.
Up.
It's my fault.
Come on, up.
What do you want her to do?
Nothing. I was
Oh,
wanting to
okay.
get Henry
There's
up.
Henry
Okay,
up.
Story.
There he is. So,
Story.
and that's what this handle is
Stop.
for too. Okay, good.
Story.
My brakes are on.
Story. Now she's confused. Come here.
Oops,
Stop.
I'm sorry. So what we do is
Stop.
he helps me to
Good boy.
stand up. Okay.
And at
he's
this
not
point, I
gonna
should
move.
stay away.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Now he's working, okay?
Yes.
And if I was to move without my chair or my cane, he is going to stay right here.
Watch.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that if I was to trip,
Story.
I can use him. There you go.
Easy.
Good boy. Okay? That's a mobility move, okay? And I don't sit properly, I flop. So
It's okay.
anyway, but that's basic.
Okay, now he's on duty. Mm-hmm. When does he get off duty?
When I release him.
Okay.
So, Henry,
Or when
down.
they take their vest off.
Or
Story.
when- mostly
Is your
it's
name
when their
Henry?
vest comes off.
Okay.
Okay. So, and we, you're silly.
Stop.
Okay.
And
You
they're
know what?
still dogs. And you know
I was
what?
just
They're
gonna
not
say,
robots.
and
They are totally not
Our
robots.
young lady here, she was showing off a little bit, showing some of her tricks before we started the show. So, yeah. Diane, if you give us an example of some of the things that Story knows, because
Okay.
she was having a blast showing
Yes.
us.
She likes, one of the things we want our dogs to do is be happy. And you can force a dog, we were saying, to do anything, but we want our dogs to love their job.
Of course.
And we want to treat them well. But she's being also cross-trained for PTSD and TBI. But so, say you drop something. Good girl.
There we go. Good girl.
Can I have it?
Oh, you're going to give it to Janet? Okay.
Hand.
There we go.
Thank you so much.
Good girl.
And that's what works for people in wheelchairs like myself. If I,
You're to let me put it
things
on the
do
floor.
fall. Things do fall. For sure.
Sure.
Whoops, there it
Oh,
goes.
Now we've got
Now
too many
I
things
did
to
it on
pick up.
purpose.
There we go.
It's okay. You know what? You can throw all kinds of stuff down there. She'll get them all.
And
Except
now
for,
let's show the scary one, because this one, when you demonstrated
Pick
this
up
a few
skis.
minutes ago, Story can pick
everybody
up a
holds
quarter.
their breath.
Story can pick up a quarter, and
Good girl, Keys.
she doesn't swallow it, but it just really gets to me. Here, okay, here we
Here, I'll
go.
put it down.
Okay. You're such a good girl.
Wait.
Come here, Story.
Okay.
Whoops.
Oh, she
Uh-oh.
dropped it. That's all right.
She dropped it. That was my fault.
Can you get that? Oh, I don't know if you
Not
can
on
get it
tile.
on tile.
Not on tile. Wait. Wait.
Incredible.
Here. There we go.
What a good girl. Good girl. Good. Oh, you're a good girl.
And it's just that she loves to do it. She's being
Right, exactly.
she's being
That's what
treated
amazes me.
well, and she's not pushed. She has a bad day. We let her take a break, and you know when she's, she gets time out of the vest. She gets to go swimming. She gets to be a dog. So we don't push her past her, her natural limits. So then she'll work many, many more years, beyond,
And that was one of the things that amazed me when I walked in the door, because you were here when I got here.
Right.
And the three of them were being dogs. And generally, you don't see service dogs. They're working. When I see anybody else sees a service dog, they're working and they're very stoic and eyes straight ahead, and you can say hi, and every once in a while I have had a couple, like I told you, they'll come up to me for some reason. Dogs like me, and I kind of stick out my hand and I'll look. And if the person says it's okay, I'll scratch them a little bit, but not too much, and then they're right along their way. But these three, I mean, they still have puppy tendencies,
Right.
which is great.
And we expect, and I want them to be like that. I want them to be happy.
Right.
Because it's really, like I was saying, have you ever had a job that you hated? I don't want my dog to hate his job. I want him to enjoy it and have fun, and make it fun. And dogs love to have fun.
And they're still part of the family, right? It's
Right.
not like they're on
Absolutely.
duty. Of course, they are on duty 24 hours if you need them. But there are times when, like you say, you take the vest off, kick your shoes off, metaphorically, and they're just the family dog, right?
Right.
And
course.
Peyton, of course, has got that one down 24/7. But
learning.
how do you pick these dogs out? I mean, how did you know that Peyton's Story and Henry were going to be? I mean, Henry's perfect. Story's well on her way, and
He's
you
got
can sort
potential.
of tell by the temp. He has potential. No, it's
very,
okay, Peyton. You're going to be a
he's
good
very
one.
brave. And when I actually got him, I went over and there was 4 puppies, and I did. What's really nice is that there's so much information out there online. Plus, we are constantly going to school. We do workshops. We do all kinds of seminars. Never stop learning. And there's lots of information out there. And there's a puppy assessment test that you can do that you do on a puppy, and you find out if you can tell at 8 to 9 weeks, 7 to 9 weeks actually, if they're service dog material. And he was so brave and so willing, and as you can tell, he is not afraid of anything.
No, he's not.
And I mean, he's not shown any bad tendencies except for being a puppy, and he's impatient right now.
Sure,
But
sure.
he'll learn impulse control as he gets older. We're learning impulse control. He does know a few commands so far, but everything we do is positive reinforcement, so it's kind of like, Peyton.
Yeah, there are
you got one.
temperament
Yeah.
tests when they're little, and
There
one
you
of
go.
the things is if they'll look you in the eye. And there are temperament tests that you can do on dogs that'll tell you whether or not they want
So
to
I
work
choose
with you.
dogs too.
Right,
Yeah.
and it's
I get that.
every dog, every pet is not a service dog, and they have to. I've had dogs that I've loved to death, and I knew they were never going to be a service dog.
Exactly.
What is the difference between service dogs and therapy dogs?
Well, a service dog is a dog that's trained to do tasks, and therapy dogs are very valuable, believe me. Even the research tells you how valuable they are. But therapy dogs go and do visitations, they go into hospitals, they do public education, but they're not trained to do one-on-one tasks for somebody with a disability. And they do not have public access like service dogs do. It's a different kind of animal, but believe me, they do a very valuable service.
Yes, they do.
Very valuable, but they're not a one-on-one dog that are trained to do tasks for somebody with a disability.
Now, getting into the laws for a moment. Just about any establishment has to let you in with a service dog, right? Is that
With
the
a
difference?
service dog.
With a
a
service
service
dog,
dog.
right. Not therapy, the service dog. Are there any exceptions to that?
Yes. If the dog is out of control, if it barks, if it growls, I like to say the dog needs to be unobtrusive. You don't know that dog is there unless you're walking in and walking out. The dog's not supposed to be visible to the public, and it should be on its best behavior. No soliciting of petting, no soliciting of treats or food. They should not be sitting on a couch or a chair or up on the table. They should be under the table, under the chair, and go to sleep.
And
Period.
absolutely no aggression.
And no aggression.
Absolutely no aggression. And no,
Okay. You put that bill. Good boy.
Is
You
he
know,
sitting on your
but
leg?
Oh yeah, it's on my foot. I'm not getting up, but that's fine.
you just hear the horror stories about people, they have a dog that's growling, well, it's my service dog.
No.
Just because it's a service dog doesn't mean it should not be aggressive. Absolutely not. And, your service dogs have to be ambassadors.
What about protection though? I mean,
No.
No.
No. Okay.
No. The only protection that we do is when we work with the veterans and they have PTSD, what we train the dog to do is do perimeter searches in their house, and we'll train them to go out a doorway first, and so that somebody can't walk into them. Okay? They have protection of a block, and I'll show you in a
Yeah,
few minutes.
Story does a block,
A block
yeah.
in the front, a block in the back, watching the front, watching their back. Okay? That's it as far as protection goes. These dogs should not have any aggression. They shouldn't even pay. Their whole world revolves around their handler. Their universe is their handler.
Yes.
A dog can walk by, a bird can fly by, a squirrel, I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. That handler is their job. When they've got their vest on, they're working. They need to pay attention to their handler.
This sounds a little silly, but do you have continuing education?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because
Absolutely.
Do you
I can
mean for
see-
the handler or the person with the service dog?
Well, actually, the dog is what I meant, but that's a good point. The handler or the person who has the
Both.
service dog.
Both.
You do have to. Yeah.
Absolutely. I like to, every year, I like to, it doesn't say that it happens, but I like to revisit with my graduated students because I want to see if their dog is okay. And I have been known to pull credentials on a dog that is not doing their job, period. Because if a dog shows aggression, I'm sorry, I'm not going to, I shouldn't apologize.
You
but,
shouldn't apologize.
But
There's something
I
wrong.
will pull their credentials because I don't want somebody to say, this dog comes up and growls at you, and they say, oh, where'd you get that dog trained? Smarty Paws.
Right. And it doesn't mean they're
no.
a mean dog. It doesn't mean they're a bad dog. It
They're
just means
just
they're
done.
not meant for
They're
the job.
done.
Right.
Or they've been worked too hard.
And
you
that
know?
was my next
They're
question.
done. They're worked
Something's
too hard.
wrong.
Yeah, and
Something can
and
be
it may
wrong.
not be the dog.
Right, exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Now, keep in mind, too, that there's two different kinds of people are under the conception that an emotional support dog. There's three categories. There's a service dog, emotional support dog, and a therapy dog. Therapy dogs are the ones that go visit. Okay, they go to
Okay.
hospitals.
Right.
They read with the kids. They belong to somebody else. An emotional support animal is a dog that is a well-trained pet. Okay, they
Okay.
do not have public access. They cannot go to grocery stores. They can't go to clothing stores. They are not allowed in restaurants. They are allowed to be home, on public transportation, and fly. That's it. That's what they're for. And to be a service dog, they must do a task. And in my program, I really like to teach 5 tasks,
I really
okay,
think you need to go
for a
back.
disabled person. And that includes PTSD. A PTSD dog is a service dog because they are
Okay.
doing a task.
Right.
Okay, so they have to do something.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
She's actually really misbehaving.
I need some.
She's really
she is
being.
misbehaving.
Oh, she is
See, well,
badly.
you didn't believe me, but I have had service dogs come up to me. I don't know what it is.
I
You're
believe
such a
Some
you.
good
dogs
girl.
can really tell a person with a dog soul, and they just kind of gravitate.
Of course.
That's where I'm
So
at here.
if you were to take, if I was to take
I
Peyton
really
out
think
right
he
now,
Mm-hmm.
he's a bad example of a service dog. Bad example.
Well, he's in
not-
training, so
You're a
that's
go
He's
boy.
okay.
in training.
Yeah,
He's a
right,
baby.
right. And he's what, 5 months old?
He's
So,
5
you know,
months
hey.
old. Now,
Okay.
Henry and Story, they have complete
I really
access
think
to
he needs to
anywhere
go.
you go. Now, keep in mind, they can't be in sterile environments. They can't go into surgery with you.
sure, of course.
Okay. I prefer people not to take them. I try to encourage people to not take them to buffets, because if you're going to take your service dog to a buffet, put them under the table, and they should have a good, solid down stay where they will stay there. They'll curl up and go to sleep while you go get your food and come back. They will not move.
You know, we're finding more and more, though, that some establishments, restaurants, grocery stores, what have you, some other places, will allow pets in. Is that good or bad for your industry?
It's bad. It's not good because these dogs serve a purpose. And this probably, I don't know if this sounds politically correct, but when my dog is working for me, he is a piece of medical equipment just like my wheelchair.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay, he's there to help me, and there's a reason why he's with me. He doesn't go everywhere with me, so if I don't need him, he doesn't go. I'm not going to stress him out like that. If I was to, and I probably would never go again, but to Disneyland, for example, I would not take my dog to Disneyland. No. Because to me, that's just overstressing my dog.
Too hot, a lot of walking, too many people.
Too many people. They're stressing out. You know, I mean, you're putting a lot of pressure on your dog to be in a place like that, and some dogs can handle it. Henry could probably handle it all day because he's so lax, daisical.
Somebody may be watching saying, I need a service dog. How do you get a service dog? Is there a huge cost? Are there grants available? Are there programs where people and everyone from someone like you who needs a wheelchair to the post-traumatic stress people who I'm sure I can think of nothing better than a dog half the time when somebody's stressed out.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Well, first of all, a service dog should not cost someone thousands and thousands of dollars.
Hear, hear.
Okay.
Sometimes it does, though.
But
It depends
sometimes
on the
it
organization.
does. Now, what we were just talking about this the other day, a service dog from birth, from the breeding all the way to the 2-year mark where they are handed off, could cost in excess of $27,000.
Wow.
Yeah, because you're talking about a lot of training, and there's a lot of people out there that need a dog to do a lot of things, okay? But what we try to do and what Silver State is trying to do is we're trying to provide these dogs at no cost, so we're looking at our community for fundraising, okay, so that we can afford to hand these dogs off. Story is one of the. She knows her name so well.
You do.
She's
a good girl.
She's a registered AKC
Good girl.
Labrador Retriever. Henry is a AKC Golden Retriever. These dogs are not cheap, but we have resources to provide them to us. But we try to cut the costs. I know even with Smarty Paws, we try to cut the costs as much as possible, help find sponsors, help them to raise money to help pay, because Smarty Paws is not a 501(c)(3). We do charge for the service dog training, but I've done a lot of fundraising over the years, and we have some money, and a lot of times what I do is if somebody has this amount, I will match that amount.
Silver State, are you 501(c)(3)?
Yes.
Yes, and because I saw on your website, you have a way to donate too.
Yes.
Right? So we need to plug both websites. Okay. So Smarty Paws website is?
Oh, it's smartypaws.com.
That's great.
SilverStateServiceDogs.com.
Perfect.
And my students and we're working to raise some money. We're going to try to place the dogs at no charge, especially to the veterans, and it'll go to the veterans first. So
Yes.
my son served in Iraq, so we know what that's like. So
Yeah.
but the dogs are rare and hard to come by.
Well, and on that note, Story here might actually contribite to the population of.
We're really hoping, and we
dogs,
have
right?
dogs coming up in our breeding
She
program.
might be a mommy. Yeah.
And she might be a mommy, and we have 2 females and a male. A male's already passed all those. Our dogs have to pass an extensive set of clearances. They have to hips, eyes, elbows, heart, and 6 genetic tests.
And they're
before.
bred for this.
They're bred
They're
for
actually
this.
bred for this.
They're purpose-bred dogs. Purpose-bred dogs pass their street certification far more often than just random dogs. It's nice that you can get a dog or a dog from the pound or any dog, but purpose-bred dogs pass their street certification and stay in the vest much more often. So you have less waste, and you train a dog for a year and a half and they don't pass their street certification. So we're doing purpose-bred dogs. So we also have 2 other females and a male. So within the next 5 years, we really might have a very big breeding program. So we have 2 more females and a male that are coming up. So we're working hard to build the organization, and we have many students that are helping, and we anticipate the program growing quite a bit within the next few
Done a
years.
fantastic job, and I'm sorry that I kind of put your training back a day or
That's
so.
okay.
No,
Well,
she's fine.
She's
Thank
a
you.
fabulous dog.
The other thing I just wanted to say, there is the Nevada state law. Please look on your, because I believe that you guys posted the Nevada laws for service dogs, because there are laws.
I'm not sure we did, but we can. You bet.
Okay, yeah, I sent the slides to it. Anyway, because Nevada State only recognizes dogs and miniature horses. I've not run across any miniature horses in recent history, but
Me either.
lots of dogs. And
Miniature horses,
just
okay.
miniature horses. Babies, they're about this big.
Right, but-
They're about as big as him. And then the other thing too is I don't discount the rescues, because I am a trainer for Pets for Vets who was on this program before.
Right.
And then also I do rescue. I do help people find dogs out of rescues and the shelters. But it's a much more difficult
It
process.
has to be a special dog, but
Yeah.
The right dog. Takes a
sometimes
little
you can
bit
train
longer.
those. I actually did an interview with the dog for Frazier. Remember back in the day?
Yes.
Right.
That was a rescue dog.
Yeah.
Right. They can be
I can't
great.
remember his
They
name.
really can.
It was different than what his name was on the show.
Oh.
And yeah, but extremely intelligent dog. So the rescues are a good place.
You can get lucky with
bet.
them, you can, but we're going to focus on purpose-bred dogs.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we can do both, but we're focusing on a breeding program.
Well, Janet, Diane, Leanna, Story, Henry. I think Peyton had to go to the little Peyton's room.
We did.
We were,
Peyton and Caroline are gone, but thank you so much for what you're doing. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for
giving
having us.
all of us a clear idea of, see, they are really dogs. That's cool.
They are.
Of what they do and everything. So thank you very much. And thank you for joining us on Dog Vegas. Hey, we're on a website called Shoots and Googles. You're going to hear a lot more about that in the coming weeks and months. But we're very excited. We're growing. We're thankful that you were with us. Woof. You are such good girls.
oh
and
wow,
boys.
it was on there.
Oh yeah, we're up there. We're all over the place. Yeah.
We're all over the place.
It's all over.